Beyond the edge of the known world, past the rolling hills and beyond the great seas, there was a land few had ever seen. It was called the Realm of Lyria, a place where magic flowed as freely as the wind. In the heart of this realm stood a mysterious forest, known to all as the Crystal Forest. The trees in this enchanted place were unlike any others. Their trunks were made of shimmering crystal, and their branches sparkled like diamonds in the sunlight. It was said that those who entered the forest could hear the whispers of ancient magic, but they could never stay for long. For within the Crystal Forest flowed the River of Dreams, a river that could carry a soul into the deepest reaches of the imagination, or take them somewhere they might never return. In a small village on the outskirts of Lyria, a boy named Elion lived with his grandmother. Elion had always been a curious child, with a heart full of wonder. He had grown up hearing stories about the Crystal Forest, passed down from his grandmother, who had once traveled far and wide in her youth. The River of Dreams, his grandmother would say softly, is not a place for ordinary people. It holds great beauty and mystery, but also danger. Only those with the purest of hearts can journey safely through its waters. Elion had always wondered about the forest and the river, but it wasn't until a strange dream visited him one night that he decided to set out on an adventure of his own. In his dream, he had seen the forest glowing under a starry sky, and a voice as soft as the breeze had whispered his name, calling him to the river. The next morning, Elion could think of nothing else. He packed a small bag with food and water, kissed his grandmother goodbye, and set off toward the Crystal Forest. As he walked, the air seemed to grow lighter, the colors around him brighter, as though the very land was alive with magic. The path led him through fields of wildflowers, past shimmering lakes, and finally to the edge of the great forest itself. The moment Elion stepped beneath the crystal trees, he felt the change. The air was cool, and the light that filtered through the branches cast a soft rainbow glow on the ground. The trees hummed gently, as though they were alive, their voices soft but full of ancient knowledge. Elion felt a mix of excitement and calm, as though he was meant to be here, yet part of him remained cautious. He followed a narrow path through the forest, listening to the distant sound of rushing water, the River of Dreams. The deeper he ventured, the more magical the forest became. Small creatures, with wings like butterflies but bodies like stars, flitted through the air, their laughter echoing softly in the breeze. Flowers that bloomed in shades of silver and gold lined the path, and the scent of them filled the air with a sweetness that made Elion feel lighter with every step. After some time, he arrived at the riverbank. The River of Dreams was unlike any river he had ever seen. The water shimmered with a light of its own, swirling in colors that changed with each passing moment, from deep blues and purples to soft pinks and greens. The surface sparkled like stardust, and as he watched, Elion felt a strange pull, as though the river was calling to him, just as it had in his dream. He stepped closer, gazing into the water. In the depths of the river, images began to form. He saw visions of lands far beyond Lyria, places where the sky touched the earth and the seas glittered with gold. He saw creatures of legend, dragons with wings that spanned the horizon, and phoenixes that rose from flames. He saw a tower of light standing in the middle of a vast desert, and a garden filled with trees of silver and fruit of stars. As Elion gazed deeper, he heard the soft whisper of the river, calling him to step into its waters. With a deep breath, he took off his shoes and stepped into the river. The water was cool but not cold, and it wrapped around him like a soft blanket. As he waded deeper, the world around him began to shift. The trees of the crystal forest faded into the background, and soon Elion found himself drifting down the river, not on the water, but through the dreams of the world. He floated through fields of stars, where the sky was a deep purple, and the stars themselves sang a song that filled him with warmth. He passed through clouds of gold, where giant birds soared, their wings creating gentle breezes that brushed against his skin. In one moment, he was gliding across an ocean made of glass, where giant whales swam beneath the surface, their movements slow and graceful. In another, he found himself in a forest of giant mushrooms, their caps glowing softly in the twilight. Everywhere he drifted, the dreams felt real, as though he were not just an observer, but part of the stories unfolding before him. Yet through it all, Elion remained calm, allowing the river to guide him. He remembered his grandmother's words, "Only the pure of heart could journey safely through the river of dreams." And though the journey was filled with wonders, Elion knew he had to be careful, for the river also held secrets. As the journey continued, the river began to slow, and Elion found himself drifting toward a great waterfall. The sound of the water crashing below filled the air, but instead of fear, Elion felt a sense of peace. He closed his eyes, trusting the river to guide him, and as he fell over the edge, he found himself floating in a sea of stars. There, in the heart of the stars, Elion saw a great tree made of light, its branches stretching out in every direction, connecting the stars, the dreams, and all the worlds beyond. It was the tree of dreams, the heart of the river, and the source of all the magic in Lyria. The tree whispered to him, its voice like a soft breeze, and Elion understood. The magic of Lyria, the crystal forest, and the river of dreams were all part of the same great wonder, a gift that connected all living things. The river wasn't just a place of adventure, but a place of wisdom, offering those who entered it a chance to see beyond their world and into the hearts of all that was. As Elion floated in the sea of stars, the tree's light grew brighter, and he felt a sense of calm wash over him. He knew it was time to return, and as he closed his eyes, the light of the tree surrounded him, guiding him back to the crystal forest. When Elion opened his eyes, he was back on the riverbank, the water of the river of dreams still shimmering before him. The sun was setting, casting a warm golden light over the forest. Elion smiled, feeling the warmth of the day and the peace of the journey within him. He knew he would never forget what he had seen, But more importantly, he knew the magic of the river was not just something to witness, but something to carry within him. With a heart full of calm and wonder, Elyon made his way back through the crystal forest, the light of the river still shining softly in his eyes. As he returned to his village, the stars began to appear in the sky, and Elyon knew that every time he looked at them, he would remember the journey he had taken down the river of dreams.